Hi, it's Rhonda from A Stitch in Time Embroidery Designs, and we're going to stitch out this beautiful freestanding lace and Mylar Blue Emperor butterfly. We're going to start out with some Mylar. This is iridescent Mylar. You can find the link to it on our website under Mylar Designs. And we're going to cut two pieces, 6 inches by 5.5 inches. And I'm going to use this little X-Acto knife to do it. I find that's the easiest way. Just hold down the Mylar and cut along the edges of your ruler. And you don't really have to be exact. Close enough is good. You're going to tear the excess away anyway. So we need 2 layers like that. Mylar's a little slippery. That's why I like to cut it with the X-Acto knife. I find it difficult to cut with scissors, but this seems to be easier. So we have 2 pieces, and then we're going to hoop 2 layers of water-soluble stabilizer, and we're going to use these T-pins in the edge of the hoop to make it nice and tight. That's the mesh type water-soluble stabilizer. I use the Madeira brand, but Valine is also a really good brand also. Make sure it's all nice and tight in the hoop, and you'll notice that I have sped up parts of this video. So we're going to put these little T-pins right in the side of the hoop through the stabilizer, because those long sides, that's where any issues of stabilizing, loosening up a little bit happen. So the T-pins kind of help it stay nice and tight. It's quick and easy to do, and it works really well. So now we're going to put the hoop on the machine. That's a 5x7 hoop. And the first thing that's going to stitch out is a placement line to show you where that Mylar goes. Now we're going to take the 2 pieces of Mylar and center them over that placement line. That we just stitched that placement line directly onto the water-soluble stabilizer. I'm using 3M transport tape. It's actually medical tape, but it works really well for embroidery too. And I put it at all 4 corners to make sure that my Mylar stays nice and tight and flat in the hoop. And then it's going to stitch out the first color, which is black. Jonathan, my son, digitized this design, and it, all those little squiggly lines that you see stitching right now, he just did that with a running stitch. It's like a vermicelli stitch. It's just a bunch of little squiggly lines, but it holds down the Mylar really well, and you can still see through the stitching to the Mylar. Now this is definitely sped up too, so and we're going to like skip through some spaces so you don't have to watch the entire thing stitch. But that's the black part of the butterfly. I am changing out the bobbin to match the top thread for each section of this butterfly. All right, the next section is going to be a pretty blue, and if you purchase this design from us, you'll see that we've listed all the colors that we use in this design. In the instructions, we use Madeira poly thread, and the color numbers are there. So if you want to match those color numbers with a different brand, you'll have that information. And that blue is done the same way as the black. That's all this little pretty vermicelli stitch. He pretty much digitized this entire design with a running stitch, almost all of it. He kind of likes to hand draw designs in the software that we use. The next color is brown, and it's going to add some coloring in the edges of the wings, which is hard to see right here. I discovered today it's really kind of hard to video, Mylar. It kind of reflects at the camera or something, and it's doesn't come out as bright as it needs to. So when it's all finished, you'll be able to see that brown in there. We're going to swap it out again. And I have 3 different color blues in this butterfly. The butterfly is life size, and that's why it's not in a 4x4 hoop, because he likes to do everything pretty precise. So that's just making like a shadow, kind of, along the edges of the blue. And now we have like a turquoise color that's going to stitch toward the middle for some more shading. All right, now we're going to do all the little details in the butterfly. And these black details is really what makes it come to life. I just stopped it and sped it up so that you could not have to watch it stitch all the way through. It's also going to stitch an edge, a satin edge, since this is actually a freestanding lace butterfly. It does need that Mylar in there to hold it together. But the center section, the butterfly body, is not going to have the Mylar under it. And you'll see that in a little bit. Isn't that pretty? I love the Mylar under the butterflies. This butterfly is available on our website in nothing but freestanding lace, where you don't use Mylar at all. And it's really beautiful that way too. Okay, so now we're going to take off the Mylar so that we can stitch the center of it. And it just peels away. I'm not actually peeling it away that fast. This video is a little sped up. And just grab a tweezer and pull out the parts that you didn't get out. And that's most important in the middle right now, where the antennae are going to stitch and the body. So get the center cleaned up, and then you can clean up the rest after. Okay, so that part is black too, and it's just going to stitch out the antenna. And the black part of the body. And then we're going to have some shading, not really shading, a highlight color in the center of the body. We're going to put that turquoise back on, top and bottom, and stitch that. So now the butterfly's all stitched. We can take it off the machine. I find it easier to get all the little tiny pieces of Mylar that didn't rip cleanly away while it's still in the hoop and it's kind of tight in there. Just clean it up. Those little tweezers happen to be my favorite. I got those from the Suki Sews website. And you can remove your pins. We'll trim away all of the excess stabilizer, but we're going to be really careful that we don't cut our butterfly. And if you have any of the Mylar left, you can pull that off now too. So we have it all cut out, and we're ready to soak it in some hot water. So I have a bowl of hot water here. We're just going to place the butterfly in there and let that water-soluble stabilizer dissolve. Shake it around in there a little bit. I'm doing it in a bowl here, but normally when I'm not making a video, I actually do it in the sink in a strainer, and I just rinse it out under a stream of warm water. What you want to do here is get all the water-soluble stabilizer off of the butterfly because it can make the Mylar look cloudy, and we want as much sparkle as possible. So make sure you rinse it really, really good. Dry it off a little bit. And it's better if we found that it's better if you turn freestanding lace upside down to dry. It doesn't tend to curl up as much that way. And then when it's all dry, you can pick it up. It'll feel nice and stiff, and it's a beautiful butterfly that you can use on lots of different projects that you might be making them for. Hope you enjoyed this video, and you join us soon in another tutorial.